We start this video with the news that our Steam store page is now live. Release is scheduled for Q3 2024. And, of course, it will be free, always. In this video, we look at the various resources used to create this simulation, and consider how accurate it is possible to make it. We divide this into 3 sections: location, the building, and the exhibits. This drawing, dated November 1850, when construction of the exhibition building was already underway, clearly shows the location. The row of elm trees running north-south, over which the arched transept roof was built, can be clearly seen. The main entrance is at the southern end of the transept, and slightly southwest of this is the Prince of Wales Gate, although at this time only the Western Lodge building existed. The scope of the building itself is better shown in this diagram. Here you can clearly see the plan divided into squares or cells, each of which is 24 foot by 24 foot. The cells are numbered 1 to 77 from west to east, and lettered A to S north to south. Each cell is thus referenced by a letter number combination. For example, the Crystal Fountain, where the transept and nave cross, is in cell K38. As for the construction of the building, one of the best sources is Volume 1 of the official descriptive and illustrated catalogue of the Great Exhibition, which devotes a whole section to this subject, including cross-sections and dimensions, construction of the columns and the method of fixing the trusses, the form of the trusses, the design of the flat roof, including the gutter arrangements for the dispersal of rainwater, the ventilators which were fitted to the top and bottom of the majority of the wall panels. Other publications document the curved transept roof, its fascia and the dial of Shepard's electric clock. Then there are the 10 sets of standard double staircases. All of these have been modeled from scratch using the SketchUp 3D modeling tool. It should be noted that during the period during which the exhibition was open, the 1st of May to the 15th of October 1851, it did not remain static. For example, the stuffed elephant did not arrive until July 1851. The simulation can only offer a snapshot, and may well represent a combination which never actually existed as a whole. Whilst comprehensive catalogues of the exhibition survive, many of the exhibits are known only by the briefest of textual descriptions. These cannot be included. Similarly, very small exhibits will be excluded, as they could not be given a meaningful representation within the VR environment. The British Sculpture Court, referred to in my previous videos, is listed with each of the exhibits assigned a number, from which the room layout may be inferred. Note the class and cell references at the top of the page: Class 30, Q to S, 28 and 29. This matches the plan we saw earlier, which labels these cells as 30, Sculpture Court. Some of these sculptures have illustrations in line, such as this illustration of Whittington by John Edward Carew. Others are illustrated elsewhere, such as John Gibson's The Greek Huntsman. There are even a small number of photographs, which can reveal a huge amount of information. For example, this photograph not only shows the Crystal Fountain and the equestrian statues of Queen Victoria and Prince Albert by Wyatt. It also shows the model of HMS Queen, the last sail-only battleship for the Royal Navy, launched in 1839, behind which is the Rowan Hanson Fountain. Back further still you can see part of the Colebrookdale Gates and the signs for the Schweppes Refreshment Court. To the left several sculptures are clearly visible, including Lord Falkland by John Bell, the Deer Stalker by Edward Bowring Stevens. The next item, according to the Illustrated London News, is called Abel and Thursa, although we can find no other reference to this name. Next is Adam by Edward James Physick, Murder of the Innocents by Peter Hollins, The Forsaken by Andrew Hume Forrest, Samson Bursting His Bonds by James Legru, The Dying Shipwrecked Seaboy by Henry Simpson, Apollo Belvedere by Bruciani. Partially obscured is Ritzper and Her Sons by Henry Stormonth Lifchild. To the right, Virginius and His Daughter by Patrick McDowell, John Hampden by John Henry Foley. This latter statue is much larger than Youth at the Stream, also by Foley, which is behind it and hence obscured from view. The next partially visible sculpture is Jacob and Rachel by Thomas Earle, then Ancient Britain by George Gammon Adams, Milton and His Daughters by James Legru. Although mostly obstructed, the next is Youthful Athlete by Edward Richardson. Then The Duke of Wellington by Thomas Milnes, which obscures the much lower Prometheus chained by Wood. At the rear is Colossal Horsehead by Hamilton McCarthy. This photograph even confirms the position of benches, and the direction in which the floorboards were laid. Then there are those for which we have not located illustrations, but are well-known works documented elsewhere. In previous videos I have mentioned the panoramas from the Illustrated London News, which illustrate both the appearance and location of most of the major exhibits in the nave and transept, although the accompanying text is not without error. This statue of the Duke of Rutland, now in Leicester Marketplace, was incorrectly labelled as being of the Marquis of Bute. Then there is Dickinson's Comprehensive Pictures of the Great Exhibition, a collection of watercolours which cover a selection of locations throughout the exhibition. These contain more detail than may at first be obvious. For example, this watercolour showing a section devoted to minerals also confirms the location of the statue of William Wallace, located in this section because of the material from which it is made. Another watercolour, here of part of the Zollverein section, shows part of the model of the castle of Rosenau, the birthplace of Prince Albert. Sadly, the model is believed lost. However, the wonderful German toy museum in Sonneberg have provided us with comprehensive drawings of this model. From these illustrations, and various descriptions from contemporary documentation, we hope to recreate this exhibit. The German Toy Museum provided us with another wonderful surprise when they told us they actually have another of the exhibits from the exhibition, Gulliver in Lilliput. A trip to Sonneberg is planned to photograph this to generate a 3D model to include in our simulation. Thanks are due to so many, too many to mention all of them. Whether it be individuals and institutions who generate and make available 3D models of sculptures, or Salford Museum who, sadly, confirmed that Venus and Cupid, by Edward Davis, which used to be in their collection, has been destroyed. Or the Menai Heritage Museum, who are trying so hard to locate the model of the original Britannia bridge over the Menai Strait. Without all this help, this project would not be possible. Look out for my next video, when I return to adding more exhibits.